Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.
We're so thrilled to have on the show actress, singer, songwriter with a brand new album, Emily Kinney. Emily, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
You know, it's like we got to talk about this. I know many people know you from the TV shows and the films and everything else you've done. I know you from your music and from your past albums. And like, is this like the seventh? I believe, you know, with your EPs and everything else that you've done. And now, you know, obviously your last album was so well received, but Swimteam, I think, is your best album to date.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's my fifth like full-length album.
Right.
Then yeah, there's a few EPs
yeah,
and
your
singles in
EPs,
there
your
too.
early ones, yeah.
Yeah, totally.
So we got to talk about this, you know, with Swimteam. It's like there's so many great songs on here, and certainly kind of like you, the supporting character album that you had that came out, sort of more in the Americana vein.
Yeah.
But also, there's a lot of honesty in these songs.
Yeah.
I mean, also when you're giving someone a B or C rating, it feels like you're kind of, you know, you and I were talking before we came in the studio. I feel like this is your Taylor Swift album.
Yeah, well, Swimteam is definitely fully a breakup album. So, yeah, and like you said, the first song is B or C for effort. So I was joking with my friends that the whole album is just a Yelp review of my last relationship. I think it's a good way to process a last relationship, is to go back and think like, what went well and what went wrong.
Right.
And the whole album is definitely very lyric-based, story-based, very specific lyrics. Yeah, I really wanted to just make it exactly what I wanted. You know, my last album, Supporting Character, I love, and I'm really, really proud of that album.
Yeah.
But I think I was just like very precious with it and making it all like very perfect. And this album, I was mad because of a breakup, and so I just like funneled it all into this very specific album. So it feels really good to get it out. It feels good to sort of like move on from that chapter, but also share it with everyone. And like you said, it is very, I guess, Taylor Swift-esque in that it's reflecting on relationships.
And that's just how I meant that too, because to me, you know, I kind of like the rawness of this album and the honesty, because there's so many things that we can relate to, just like on False Start and on Untitled, and you played the guitar on Untitled.
Yes.
And did a great job.
Thank you so much. When you said that you liked the guitar on Untitled, I was very proud of myself, because I taught myself guitar, and piano is definitely more my first instrument, so I've always felt a little insecure about my guitar playing. So that made me feel very very good and very proud that you enjoyed my guitar playing.
Well, and you know what amazed me too, because I mean, listen to the whole album, which I certainly recommend our viewers do, to where with Swimteam, I assumed, you know, you recorded this like in a big fancy studio in LA, or you came to Nashville, which I know you come to Nashville a lot, but this was mainly recorded in your house?
Yeah, most of it was recorded during the kind of the end of pandemic, so people were still being very careful. But besides that too, I've just always really enjoyed recording in my house. I work with my good friend Ben Greenspan. He worked with me on Supporting Character as well.
Right. And
we've just kind of gotten into this rhythm of just setting up in my living room, and we like find the best spots, you know, in the living room, and start there and record there. And it, you know, it gives us the freedom to experiment and stop early, spend all day, you know, like whatever we're feeling. Where when you're in a studio, a lot of times you're more aware of like the time and the money, and so we recorded most things at my house, and then we also spent a couple days at Doghouse in Venice, just to do drums and more guitar and more complicated stuff. And
you know, I think, you know, we've talked about a few of the songs, but one of my other favorite songs on here, Avett Brothers.
Oh, thank you.
Talking about with the song to where, you know, having a t-shirt or a shirt, sweatshirt, whatever, from a past relationship, you know, and I know with other interviews, you've said you've kind of become notorious for that now.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of became a joke. I don't know if I should. It kind of became a joke, like with me and my friends, of like sort of like, if you date me, like guard your sunglasses and your cool t-shirts. Because I might go home with one of them.
It only seems fair though to me, Emily. I mean,
it seems
really.
like a good, you know, at the end of a relationship, I want to keep a cool t-shirt.
It's like a souvenir.
Yeah. So it's a little, yeah.
But I think also, you know, like we were talking, I think a lot of your fans and a lot of listeners, you know, can relate to this, you know, with so many things like we were talking about, you know, like dinosaur, you know, with the dinosaur lyric, you know, and
Yeah.
your Doris like going, there's just fun lyrics in here.
Oh, thank you.
But you also, you know, I was surprised to where you wrote all of these songs yourself. You didn't do any co-writes on this album.
No, and actually on most of my albums, I just tend to, like you said, this album is so personal, and I love collaborating with people, but I think when it came to the lyrics and just the main structure of the song and the melody, I really wanted it to be exactly what I wanted.
Right.
You know?
I can't blame
I
you.
didn't want to collaborate. I wanted it to be. So yeah, every song is written by me, inspired by, you know, my situations, going through breakup, dating, all of that.
But I
So,
think also a lot of people are going to be able to relate to that in
Thank
your
you.
songs. And I mean, it's just got that strong Americana feel. You know, I was going to bring up, you know, growing up in Wayne, Nebraska,
yeah,
and then, you know, and starting music, singing at an early age.
yes.
You know, before you won the Lions Club, you came in at second place.
Yes, yes. So my very first time, well, I was always singing as a little kid. My parents had a Carpenter's record, so like I was telling
Right.
him earlier that Karen Carpenter was my first music teacher.
Yeah, what a great teacher.
Yeah, so I would learn all those songs and sing them for my parents. I also loved Sound of Music, and I remember like taping the DuckTales soundtrack for some reason, like opening song and then like learning that one. That was a favorite.
Yeah.
But my first talent show was when I was 7 years old for Lions Club. I sang My Favorite Things from Sound of Music, and I got second place, got a trophy, and I was like, yeah, I got to get more of those trophies. I'm hooked.
But you know what's funny then too was that then you end up in New York and you end up in all of these great plays, all of this great
Yeah.
theater, you know, going to college, and then, you know, and then you end up in LA.
Yeah.
And you kind of have balanced, you know, your acting career with also still keeping your music alive too. And like we were talking, particularly during the pandemic, you were able to still, you know, be at home and do your music out in LA
Yeah.
and dig deeper into it.
Yeah, I love acting. It's so much fun. It's such a big passion for me. It's such a big part of who I am. But I think music is the thing that's really my own. With acting, you're definitely fitting into someone else's story,
Right.
some other bigger picture. But I think that music is a great sort of break from that. And everything I do in my acting career, it ends up feeding my music, because every time you get a new acting job, you go to a new city, you are exploring a new character, and all those you meet a new group of people on set.
Right.
All those experiences end up feeding into new songs. So I find that they've really complemented each other. Just being able to have both those worlds
Right.
in my life. You
Well,
know?
and I think also, Emily, it seems like it gives you another creative outlet because,
Yeah.
you know, like we were talking before we came in studio, you know, with acting, with all of the TV and movies and everything else you've been in and continue to be in, to where, you know, it's more directed, you know, it's someone else's vision.
Yeah.
To whereas when you're doing your own album, like Swimteam, it's all Emily.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think recently, especially, maybe not earlier on when I was making music, but I've made kind of like a conscious effort of being like, this thing's mine. Like, I'm the director of this project, so I'm gonna do it the way I want to do it. Yeah, and also when it came to like the pandemic, or recently we just had a big strike. This SAG went on strike,
Right.
and you know, rather than being kind of bored at home waiting for the next job, I had work to do.
Right.
You know, I had music to make. So
And shows to play.
and shows to play, and so I think having another thing creatively is really healthy if you're an actor too. It really keeps you.
Well, it seems like it's kept you so well rounded because I mean I love all of your acting and everything, you know, and all the TV shows and movies that I've seen you in. You always become it. You know what I mean? You're believable. But also, it's nice to see with the music side that you can just be you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I think like even in my acting, like I'm always trying to find the part of the character that is me. Like within us, we have such a range of different people we can be.
Right.
Like if you think about who you are with like your parents and then with certain friends or so in some ways the music and acting come from the same place as far as me like connecting with an audience, telling a story, revealing parts of yourself, being really truthful about the different parts of yourself. They both come into play with music or acting.
Right.
So.
Although this is a very honest album. But, you know, more importantly, though, I think we got to bring this up now.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the hand-created merch. Because also you're using your own creativity to actually draw, you know, do artwork on sweatshirts and everything?
Yeah, so I love making, I'm really proud of my hoodies just because they're really
So are these like
comfortable.
Emily's craft projects, you know, that are
Kinda.
available on the merch? Okay.
Yeah. So the album Swimteam, if you take a look at the album,
Yeah.
I'm looking through a glass.
Such a cool cover.
Thank you. I'm looking through a glass of water. And I wanted to kind of create that, but almost as just like a hand drawing. So it's
Right.
almost like a cartoon version of the looking through the glass of water. So that's one of the hoodies. And then the other hoodies, I wanted to feel very like, almost like sports team, swim team, like
Yeah.
really play into the swim team theme.
Totally.
So we have that, and then I have new beanies that are that specific dinosaur line that you mentioned
the lyric.
about. Yeah, the line is, "You're a dinosaur now, baby, in the museum of my broken-hearted past." And
That
so,
is such a great line.
Thank
I just love
you.
that line, but I'm so thrilled too, though, that you took the creative spark and then created a piece of merch on the beanies with it.
Yeah.
So then when people are listening to it, you know, it just hits home more.
yeah, it's like a little dinosaur with a broken heart. So you can.
I think you need to have like beach towels or something too.
Yeah?
Because swim
Oh, swim
team,
team.
you always need a towel.
Maybe as we get into spring and summer, I'll
Yeah.
like add to the merch line.
Right, like flip-flops and the towel and everything else. Well, you know, and you and I were talking too, Emily, to where I think these songs, you know, it's so great as a cohesive album, and I think that our viewers are going to want to listen to that, and I know it's available on vinyl. But also, you're going to have to think about maybe these being involved with TV shows and movies as well, which I thought, how ironic would it be to where the song is playing in the TV show or movie and you're in it?
I mean, I would love
like
that.
the full
That
circle.
actually has happened. I was in a Hallmark movie where they used one of my songs in the actual in the actual movie as well. So that was kind of fun.
Is that kind of surreal,
But,
though?
I don't know. I mean, it did fit. If it like it
Yeah.
totally. So it was cool. It's
Well,
cool.
yeah.
It's cool when you can sort of merge both worlds, and yeah, it's a way to be even more involved in the process, and yeah.
Because then it's like someone goes, wow, and I love that song. That's like, going, yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
That's my song. It's on my album. In fact, I've got some out of my car. Would you like one?
Yeah, totally. So yeah, I love it.
Well, I want to bring up too for our viewers, Emily, to where, you know, not only will you be having like full band tours, but also maybe some like solo shows, a little more intimate with you on guitar, piano, right?
Yeah, so I've done some full band shows in LA, New York, Nashville, here.
And you did the two album releases also.
Yeah, but the next things I do are, like, I'm playing a little show at Hotel Cafe, and that'll just be me, which will be fun. And next year I'll probably be doing a few more dates where it's maybe just me or me and one other person.
Yeah.
And I think the songs really do well when you can just hear the lyrics and really hear the stories. So
And your voice sounds so good on this album.
thank you.
So I got to ask you this too then. Have you thought about inviting ex-boyfriends or past relationships to the shows?
Oh my gosh.
And it's just like, just to make them uncomfortable while you're performing it.
Yeah, I mean, they can check it out online. I don't like send a specific invitation.
It just seems like it would be, you know, just kind of like that revenge thing. You know what I mean? Going, hey, you know what, I'm doing fine. Oh, I got a hit album out of this too.
Yeah, we'll see. I hope.
Oh, I think
Either
so.
way, I feel really proud of the album. And I mean, who knows?
I think you should be.
Yeah,
It sounds
thank
amazing.
you.
I think this is going to do so well, you know, not only on, you know, you've done well in pop charts in the past, but with the Americana, folk, and roots and everything, because the songs are just deep and meaningful, and you can tell you're singing them from your heart.
Thank you so much.
Well, I want to make sure, Emily, for our viewers, for your website, for social media, for the dinosaur beanie, for the hand-drawn artwork on the on the hoodies, and of course vinyl, where do our viewers need to go?
Yeah, so you can just go to emilykinneymusic.com and it'll have a link to my shop, but also I'm really active on social media, so at Emmy Kinney, EMMYKINNEY, at Emmy Kinney is on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok now.
Yes,
and
you're everywhere.
I'm everywhere, so.
And so we can keep up with, your tour, your new music. Obviously, you've got some music videos out also, which I think are great. So will more music videos be coming out?
I don't know. We released one for B or C for Effort.
Right.
So for now, I think that's good. I mean, there's so many ways to connect through video now without doing like a full music video. Just like being able to talk about the song and on TikTok or YouTube or whatever.
You could have your fans actually send pictures or videos of them in an X's T-shirt or something.
That's a good idea.
Then you've got that.
That's great. Yeah.
Hey, I'm just saying because then
it's a little montage of different band T-shirts. From past relationships.
I think it would be pretty fun, band T-shirts and sunglasses, just to show what
that you've stolen or not stolen.
Yeah, liberated.
Yeah, liberated.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're going to want the entire album. The songs individually are certainly great on Swimteam, but get the whole album, especially on vinyl that Emily has also, and catch her on tour doing this show live. You're going to love these songs as much as I do. Emily Kinney, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.